and the despair is running over. And who's going to talk about that? Who's going to address that?
One thing I'll be curious, especially you're talking about this happening even at this event, I'll be curious to understand not only the target, but I want to know the state of the suspect.
Yeah.
Because that is going to be one of the most important sources of information of what has happened tonight. And especially we read from the Secret Service talking about, as you noted, they're investigating a shooting incident near the main magnetometer screening area. Was it effective? Was this person intercepted in this way, which of course would be a very important detail to understand. And let's not forget as well that, as you mentioned, Scott, and we've talked about some of the people at the beginning of this dinner who were present in the room. Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk. You have people who are civilians who may or may not have had their own experiences with gun violence in this country. And as we know, Steve Scalise also there, a victim of gun violence as well. And there are others who we are not naming in the moment as well. And just to think about the prevalence of gun violence more broadly.
I will note, the president on his way to the White House now for a press conference shortly. The entire press corps is in this room right now. They're not going to make it there. I imagine that the people asking the questions, to the extent that there will be questions, will be the White House pool, which is a limited, very small group of reporters who will be able to travel with the president and ask him questions there. But this is, it's so surreal. It is so surreal that the president, everyone who covers him, all there for this. They're all leaving now, the members of the press leaving. But what we do know for sure at this point is that there is a suspect in custody.
Our boy Sean is in the press pool, so he will ask some interesting questions, I assume.
And those involved,
potentially for the New York Times.
Those involved, their condition not yet known. But the president's okay, the cabinet's okay. We have not seen or heard any ambulances taking anyone from inside that event. So we think everyone in the event is okay, and they certainly look okay. And the pictures that we are seeing now, I have to say, I'm sure they're all just relieved, frankly, that it's gone on the way it has. We have Wolf Blitzer with us, and Wolf has been crucial in understanding the course of this event because, Wolf, you were really the first witness to tell us what happened. That there did appear to be a shooter.
Magnetometers, as if
fucking Wolf Blitzer, man. Another drunk Wolf Blitzer certified classic.
I don't know if he was just in there waiting or whatever, but it was clearly in a secure area where we assumed everybody had gone through metal detectors and was cleared to go in to the ballroom. And all of a sudden, I'm walking right near the shooter, and all of a sudden I start hearing gunshots. And the next thing I knew,
I will say one thing. Like, this is another instance where everyone is going to be like polite, and it's going to take like a week of yelling at people to be like, "Oh, the president could have almost been shot and killed. How dare you?" Some people are going to crack jokes. Not me. I would never do that. Okay. And then eventually it's going to turn into another Kirkification moment for like average people won't give a fuck about it. Most people are just watching the game. They don't give a shit.
And for me personally and for everyone who was nearby. And to see this unfold as quickly as it did, and I must say, I give law enforcement a lot of credit because they moved very quickly, risking their own lives in the process. There's a shooter with gunshots, and they took this guy down, and, you know, the process, they took me down too. They took me down to save me, which was good because I didn't know where this guy was aiming, but the gunshots were so loud, so frightening, that it scared all of us, and we had no idea what was going on.
He fell getting rushed off stage?
My gut was that out of an abundance of caution, because the shooter was inside the secure area, they should definitely have canceled the event for tonight and told everyone to go home as quickly as possible. I'm now in the lobby of the Washington Hilton Hotel, and you see hundreds of people coming up the escalator, going to the lobby, getting ready to go home. If there are cars waiting, or if they're walking, or whatever they're doing, taking an Uber, but they're all leaving, and it was just a very, very frightening, scary moment indeed. And thank God, you know, everybody inside was okay, and I don't know if anyone was injured at all. But
you just said you're not going to make light of the situation. Come on, man! An old man falling like that, that's funny. Like, I'm sorry, it's the president. He fell. Like, do you really think I can't laugh at that? I'm a human being.
And thrown to the ground, and presumably his weapon taken away. but it was just a very.
And Wolf, I'm sorry. Did you
because no one
say?
knew
Did you
if this
see the type
individual
of
was
weapon,
acting
or
alone, if there were others there? So they just took everybody, and they tried to save us and make sure that we were secure, which I was grateful for at the time.
we know that the
But it's
motorcade
still
is leaving
crazy
as
here in the
well?
lobby, because
Yeah.
you see hundreds of the guests, of the people who were
That
in the
is
ballroom,
crazy.
just coming up the escalator and trying to leave as quickly as they can, which is clear.
Imagine if Germany wasn't such a asshole about it. These guys would be currently ripping P90s instead. That's right. They use the MP7s, which, you know, a lot of people think is the best possible weapon due to Call of Duty, popularizing it. But initially it was supposed to be the P90. That was supposed to be like the NATO weapon. But Germany was like, nope, absolutely not. HK made the MP7 instead, and the P90 was cooked. Yes, MP7 was inferior in every test ever conducted compared to the P90. It's true. That guy's a badge? Yeah, no shit, dude. This is not the shooter. This is the Secret Service.
Hilton, an historic site, I might add, for people who recall in 1981, an assassination attempt of President Ronald Reagan. Sarah, can you tell us what you're seeing out there and what you know, given the number of people in that room?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the number of people in the room, the number of cabinet members alone in that room, there are going to be some big questions about security and how this happened, because I will tell you that those magnums that you all are talking about are very far into the venue. When you first come in, mostly what they asked was they wanted to see your ticket. They allowed you to sort of get to the door where you did the sort of red carpet, if you will. And every single cabinet member almost went to the red carpet. And when we walked in that door, there were no checks on our bodies. They did not do any checks of what we had with us at that point. And so that may have been where the shooter entered or how the shooter entered, although we don't yet know that. But it takes a while, and you know this well, John, it takes a while before you get to those magnometers, before they start checking your person, before they start checking your purses, for example. So there will be a lot of questions about security here. What we did see is some real deep, disturbed emotions in that room, one of whom was Erica Kirk. As I was walking out of the venue trying to figure out what happened and what we could find out as a reporter, as we're walking out,
Bro, Erica Kirk wasn't there when Charlie Kirk got shot. They're making it seem like she has like post-traumatic stress sort of from being shot in the direction of Charlie Kirk or something.
Imagine her distress as she's sitting there hearing the same thing that we all heard, which was gunshots, and knowing what happened to her husband, and being
Drew
in
is
that
calling
scenario.
for your arrest. He's Australian.
She looked visibly terrified as she was being escorted out, and then we saw her again once she was outside of the building, kind of being surrounded.
even
and
people who are
to be
haters
able
of mine
to,
are like,
to
what the
leave
fuck is
area
this?
completely. We also saw Senator Fetterman and his wife, who were also trying to figure out where to go, how to leave, how to move out of the way. There was chaos. There were moments where people weren't sure what they were supposed to do, stay inside the ballroom or leave. But we are seeing quite an apparatus out here. We did see ambulances, but they were not in the kind of scenario that you have all seen when there is someone who needs to be taken to the hospital. They were sort of sitting and waiting with their lights going. And then we saw quite a few police vehicles coming and going throughout this particular area. And then a while ago, we saw them put up the crime scene tape here, which has moved out further than it was initially. Just down here, I'm on Columbus in California. Just down here where you see all of those lights, that is where the Hilton is. That is where this occurred. But I think someone mentioned this, and I don't know if it was Van Jones or who
Van,
mentioned
I'm
that
live.
there's this sickness. And you saw the result of the sickness with gun violence. You saw the result of that in this room while people are saying—
left? Here, do you want to give a comment to the stream? We were watching you. They can't hear you though. If you want, I can put the microphone on the phone if you want. I know. Wait, you want me to wait? I'm gonna put you up to the mic now. You're on mic.
Sure. Yeah, I asked if they could let me leave.
Wait, really?
Because, yeah, I did. Yeah, I asked if I could leave the show.
Damn. You should have stayed on. Now they're going to put Van Jones back in, and he's going to do the state of the conversation instead.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, like there's no Hasan. It's like, what are we going what is what's the discussion?
I know this happens so frequently. That's what's so crazy about it. Like there was a guy. I don't know if you remember this. There was a guy who went to Mar-a-Lago with a gun. It was a former Trump fan. He went to Mar-a-Lago with a gun, and he got shot and killed because he wanted to do. He wanted to assassinate the president. It happens so frequently at this point, and it's so crazy that this is like every time it happens, we just set the clock back. We reset it. Like
that is not the forum to have this discussion, because the forum to have not to me at least, all I'm gonna do is look like a raging lunatic up there, because this conversation, yeah, I care about the fact that people felt unsafe in that place tonight. They were trying to celebrate the industry, but people feel unsafe in churches. They feel unsafe in schools. They feel unsafe protesting in Minnesota. Like, it's just, I don't feel like coming off all sanctimonious and all of that.
Also, if you say that, they're going to say, oh, you're undermining this like actually severe situation, as opposed to all those other instances where like real people are also feeling threatened and sometimes getting shot, because those are little people. Those are ordinary people. This is an extraordinary situation.
I mean, maybe. I mean, they actually might like it, but honestly, it's probably, and I fuck with everybody up at CNN and they're good to me, but honestly, it's probably, I don't know, man. It's just like, this is the reality of the space that we're in right now. Yeah. So overtly grotesque that I kind of don't want to do it on TV, honestly, bro.
I feel you. There's people on the timeline, like they got a boss call blaming me for it right now. There's like mad people being like, why? They're saying that I'm the Democrats' new darling, and I want death and destruction, and I'm like the one who is inciting all this violence. And it's like, bro, I'm a Twitch streamer.
You talking about just in general?
Yeah, they're saying, yeah. They're like, oh, Hasan is the reason for this, which is crazy, because it's like, if I'm capable of inciting violence with my language, what the fuck is the president inciting? The same president that they're defending.
Here's the deal, though. The symptom of a really sophisticated virus is that everyone thinks it's coming from someplace that it's not coming from. Like the symptom of a really sophisticated, a really truly entrenched disease or pathogen is that it tricks you and it makes you desperate to blame other parts of the body. Like, oh, we think it's here, we think it's there, we think it's here, we think it's there. We don't have any intellectual cohesion on what the source of it is. So we go through all of this stuff until we're knocked back on our ass and we hope that we luck up on a solution. The real solution to this is that our political and social fabric has just been decimated under the influence of this guy. And we can keep, it's not like America was ever, I'm a black man from the South. I'm going to stop like being hyper verbose after this. It's not like America was ever a super safe place for me. But the reality of what this country is now is this, we can't, that's not the right forum for me to get my shit on it.
I feel you.
Happy in a couple of weeks. Yeah, that's just not the right forum for me to get my shit on it. That's for them.
Are you coming back to LA, or are you going to be in New York? I'm going to be in New York next week.
I'll be in New York next week. I think I'm going to do Abby next week. They don't care that I left the show. Like, I asked, they were cool with it. Everybody up there is cool. Not about them, but like, I'll be in New York next week to do Abby. Yeah.
All right, I'll see you there.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right, bye. Here, X video, the shooter. This is an image unconfirmed. Yeah, we saw this already. I think they stripped him too. There's a photo of him totally stripped with like the wrap around him. That was Van Lathan. He was just on CNN. Security update. Cash is so fired. Bro, Cash is so cooked and so cucked. Something I noticed even before coming into the White House Correspondents Association dinner was that the security was only outside the ballroom, inside, not outside the building. So the entrance of the building did not have security machine, only guards. You only went through the screening before the ballroom. Oh my God. I mean, I guess that might be normal. I'm kind of shocked. I'm actually kind of shocked at how anyone could get that close Can you please call Brace Belden? He's not there, chat. Fox correspondent claims to have attempted shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner is 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen from Torrance, California, and he's in custody. Oh, Brace is currently being strip searched. Not normal. I worked at a venue during an event that Trump attended. Why did that New York Times reporter randomly drop the T on Cash's girlfriend? That's so fucking funny. Excuse me. That's real reporting, okay? It happened. He saw it. He had to write it down. Sometimes you see things and you don't even think. Good reporters, they sometimes observe and they write it down immediately. They type it out and they don't even know what that would lead to, okay? It's a butterfly effect, you know? If Cash Patel is getting cucked amidst this attempted shooting, then we have to know about it. That's called accuracy in reporting. That's called good journalism. Yeah. Shooter apparently identified as Cole Thomas Allen from Torrance, California, 31 years old. Not looking good. Because as you know, most people will just immediately do profiles. And even though 90% of the time is a Trump supporter, all it matters is the one time where it's not, you know, for them to immediately clamp on anyone and everyone. But then again, we don't know yet. We don't know. We'll wait. What I will say, though, 100% confirmed, Cash Patel's girlfriend was holding the hand of another man while this incident was taking place. We do know that. That's a real thing that happened. That is confirmed. It's in the paper of record, the gray lady. I just want you to know that's out there, okay? We haven't confirmed the actual shooter's identity yet, alleged shooter's identity yet, but
in the way of essentially taking that bullet for the president if that's what's necessary. So yeah, this is it. This is like the Secret Service doing their thing right in front of the entire world.
Andy, stand by. I just want to reread. It's just past the top of the hour at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, just to bring people up to speed at what's happened. This was the night where the White House Correspondents' Dinner was supposed to take place. But let me read you a statement from the Secret Service that describes in the best detail we have of what happened. It said the U.S. Secret Service, in coordination with the Metropolitan Police Department, is investigating a shooting incident near the main magnetometer screening area at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The president and first lady are safe, along with all protectees. One individual is in custody. The condition of those involved is not yet known, and law enforcement is actively assessing the situation. The president delivering a statement very shortly at the White House. We will, of course, bring that to you live the minute it happens. The vice president evacuated. We learned the Speaker of the House also evacuated. Literally, the constitutional line of succession was all there, and they are all okay. We are here watching this unfold.
I guess going forward, whenever like any violent incident takes place or attempted violent incident takes place, every Republican is going to be like, we should kill Hasan Piker. You know? I guess that's what it is, right? Like every single one of them.
When this happened, it was Steve Scalise, the House Republican Majority Leader, who grabbed him and threw him into a secure location. Of course, Steve Scalise himself was shot years ago in the congressional baseball game. One other thing that I think should be noted, the Secret Service is an agency that it exists in the Department of Homeland Security, which has been shut down and not funded for 70 plus days. So when I think about watching these Secret Service agents and their heroism and what they have to do, they're currently working in an agency that, for many, many, many weeks now has not been taken care of. So I suspect members of Congress are going to have to confront that. And it started this past week, but that's got to get fixed.
Look, I think that they obviously just did an extraordinary job. And the people I'm hearing from are shaken up. Look, people respond differently. I've been shot at. It's a very weird experience because, bullets are there. When you're playing, cops and robbers, you just go bang, bang, people fall down. Bullets are physical things and they move past you faster than you can react. And nobody knows how their body is going to respond in a situation like that. So some people get very stoic. Some people get very emotional. Some people are fine for 2 days and then afterwards they completely crash. So you're going to have, unfortunately, a huge psychological impact for people with lots of responsibility in this country, people who are running agencies, bureaus, people who are running news organizations. So we have to be aware of that. I do think that the people who wanted the show to go on were people who were trying to figure out some way for this not to be a complete disaster. I have to say,
I adore your dedication to sticking to facts, even at moments of heat, no matter how heated it gets. with Kash Patel's girlfriend and another man? Yes. This is the Piker Broadcasting Service, also known as the People's Broadcasting Service, sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people. Only the most trusted, most accurate name in news. I'm going to give you only the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. In times of misinformation, especially on the internet, when people are trying to figure out, was Kash Patel's girlfriend actually holding the hand of another man or not, I'm going to tell you what the truth is, right? Like, unless it is a confirmed report from verified, reliable resources, reliable sources on the ground, I'm not going to fucking tell you Kash Patel is getting cucked unless I have the evidence, right? Which is precisely the reason why I haven't yet confirmed the other stuff, except for the fact that Kash Patel's girlfriend was holding the hand of another man during the shooting that took place. So, crazy way to find out. Was hiding in a room with another man who was holding her hand. Crazy way to find out. On the night that he is potentially about to be fired, which makes it even crazier. You know? Damn, Trump got a mentalist for this shit. He couldn't even predict the shooting. That's what you think. The mentalist, I didn't see him. Did you? Maybe he knew. Maybe he could predict it and he tried to warn people and they were like, shut up. Magic is fake.
And again, another attempt possibly on Trump or another violent attack on somebody. I think it's overwhelming to people and they want someone to get up and make some sense of something this senseless.
They also, I think, want to learn as much as they possibly can, and the details are scant right now. One piece of new information, this is coming from our reporting team. A U.S. Secret Service agent was shot at the White House Correspondents' Center Saturday night. The bullet struck the agent's protective gear, okay? And the agent was taken to a local hospital. The agent's condition not immediately clear, but the fact that the protective gear is part of that statement, let's hope that means this officer is in good condition. We now have with us CNN Chief Law Enforcement Analyst John Miller. John, you have so many great sources. What are you learning now at this stage of the evening?
What the fuck? That was the mentalist when Donald Trump was getting... Whoa.
Who is this suspect? What was the motive? They are obviously doing background into that. What we know from law enforcement sources who have been briefed on the matter is, according to identification found on the suspect after he was taken down, he is a 30-year-old man from the Los Angeles area of California. They are working on his background, any potential criminal record, social media, and all of the rest of the things you think they would be doing. As you've been reporting, the details are still relatively sketchy, but what we are told is that there was the set of magnetometers, and as he approached the magnetometers, there was this confrontation and shots fired. The Secret Service agent was hit, we are told, in the vest, but as you know, this is all preliminary.
Dog, I was here, okay? Like, shut up. 30-year-old from California, not Los Angeles, I don't think. At least that's what they said. He's a LA area, but it's... I guess Torrance is LA area, right?
Who are at those magnetometers, the people whose job it is to be that front line of making sure that anybody who gets through those
eating as Trump was being escorted
is now part of the sterile crowd, meaning they can't be armed, they can't have anything on them that could be dangerous. Those are the Secret Service uniform division. They wear white shirts and black pants and badges, look like normal police. And they are that front line. Beyond that, of course, is the Secret Service plainclothes agents who guard the president and are spread throughout that building. So we don't know
crazy.
Who was involved in the initial confrontation, but there's some likelihood that that encounter would have started with the uniform division at those magnetometers. So we don't know how far, when they get to this press conference at the White House, how far they will go into the details of whether they've identified the gunman or his background, but they're working on those details. And at this point, so are we.
30-year-old male in custody, of course, John Miller from California. That is all new information. A 30-year-old male from California. Any sense of the condition that the suspect is in, John?
Well, that's been a point of confusion. We were told initially, and this was literally within the first minute. So the earlier the information it is, the less reliable it is. We were told that He was taken down. The suspect was
She
down.
did
The
the
suspect was
kissy
dead.
face.
The terms they're using now were apprehended and in custody, which are suggestive that he has not succumbed to those injuries. So we'll have to sort through that as well as we go.
Thank you very much for making that clear, because again, the initial report different than what we think we are hearing now. We are just hearing in custody at this point, a 30-year-old male from California. And another point I just want to reiterate that you said is, as we are getting more information, the fact that this happened near the metal detectors, it's possible that the security here did what it was supposed to do. I mean, there are going to be questions. Obviously, need to review every aspect of this, but it is possible. One possibility is that the precautions they had in place are what kept this from being a true disaster tonight.
And of course, we heard from Wolf Blitzer about the location where he witnessed at least the gunman being brought down. You are seeing right now on your screen the White House press briefing room, because we were told by the President of the United States that he intends to speak within the 30 minutes. We were actually around that time right now as to when to expect him to speak. He would have come back from the Washington, D.C. Hilton, where this shooting took place. We still have a lot of questions. Number one, more information about who this shooter is, the motivation here, who was the intended target, the condition of the Secret Service officer who was struck in the vest, the condition of that suspect as well. And you can believe, as Jonathan Miller talked about,
Connor, the man's about to lose his job. Hey, man, I just read in the New York Times that your girlfriend is cheating on you. Connor! He's about to lose his job and his girlfriend at the same night. Oh, by the way, C-SPAN, Robert Skvarlis is watching C-SPAN right now. The callers think the assassination attempt was stage law. I'm a Midwestern normal mother, and they had a mentalist there for the first time because the president doesn't take jokes well. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but it doesn't feel right. This is also part of the reason why, these guys will be like, Hasan is doing violent rhetoric. I'm like, bro, you really need to see what the average person thinks. Like, I told you, like, it's going to be instant. Like, instantly, people are just going to be like, yeah, no, that's not real. That's fake. It's a good number of people, I think, at this point, sincerely believe that this shooting, this one was staged. Okay, the fight one. Like, a solid number of people. Also, an even larger number of people hate the president. So, I'm not a fan of violence, as you guys know. Famously, people lie and say I am, but I'm not. I don't like chaos. I don't like instability. I'm a homebody, right? But like a lot of these people don't understand how normal people feel about shit, Like, things are fucked up. Insane AM radio host lady. What did you know? What? Dana Loesch? NBA Twitter's hilarious right now. They're saying to out the Wolves Nuggets game on what? Because no one cares about this bullshit now. Yeah, always the ones with the fucking Bible verse in their bio that say unhinged shit like this. Meghan McCain being normal. I don't want to hear one more fucking criticism of Trump's new ballroom at the White House. What? What the fuck does that even mean? Just say everything? No, chatters. Jokes do not fly any longer, okay? They used to, but they do not anymore. What? Unfortunately, the First Lady and I had to be evacuated from the White House Correspondents' dinner alongside the president and the entire cabinet. This event is yet another reason the President Donald Trump's ballroom should be built. What? Braces on the ground, important. Chatter, are you fucking serious? He's fucking joking. He's literally spreading misinformation. Please. We already joked about it. Okay. All of these people talking about the ballroom. Are you ready for this? Watch this. All of these people all of a sudden talking about the ballroom moments after this shooting, this alleged attempted shooting took place, is going to make every liberal go, oh, he didn't even stage the fake assassination attempt to make himself look good. He staged it so he could justify the ballroom. It will 100% be tomorrow's news today. That's the PBS guarantee. I'm telling you right now, tomorrow's news today. If Donald Trump says, this is why we need a ballroom. Every Blue Anon, and not even just Blue Anon, it'll be like normie libs, PhD having normie libs are going to turn around and be like, oh, you see this shit? He staged it himself to attempt to get the ballroom going so that no one can criticize Donald Trump's ballroom. Because I don't give a fuck about the ballroom, right? I don't give a fuck about it at all. But for some reason, it's the one thing that got every liberal the most pissed. Okay? Like, I care about the other shit Trump does, like double tapping a fucking little girls' school in Iran. Like, those are the things I care about. But a lot of liberals, I remember a lot of liberals and independents as well. A lot of liberals and independents actually turned away from Trump because the ballroom stuff was happening at the same time that the furlough stuff was happening, because they had they were like weeks into the government shutdown, right? And that was when a lot of independents pulled out. They were like, nah, I'm done. I can't deal with it. They hated it at the time. I'm telling you.
The suspect who is at the Hilton, as CNN reported just a few moments ago, we're waiting to see what it is that the White House has learned. And I just wanted to know, John, that in the room, the cabinet secretaries and top administration officials are kind of seated sporadically at random tables. So you can see there was a difficulty in security going and making sure they could get to every cabinet member. I was seated next to the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, in that moment. And I mean, we were both crouched on the floor, sitting next to each other, waiting to see what was going on and learn more from the service and the security that was inside the room. So obviously we're waiting to see what the president himself has learned and what he'll say when he comes out here to the briefing room in just a few moments. But it's a heroic effort even just to get these reporters inside here, many of them running, some physically running from the Hilton to get here as we raced over to make it to this press briefing. Obviously at 10:17 p.m. on a Saturday night, in itself an incredibly rare occurrence, John.
Caitlin, and I don't want to make light of this situation, but we could all use a smile right now. This will be the best dressed press briefing, I think, in the history of the White House, with all the reporters dressed for a black tie event. It just gets to the absolute surreal nature of what Caitlin and all of our friends have been through tonight, and what we've watched play out before our eyes. I mean, we saw it happening in this camera that was focused in the room as the president was being
He didn't mean it misogynistically. It was a weird segue. I thought as much. I thought as much as well, but that's not. He was just trying to make a joke about how like everyone's dressed so well.
There is a suspect in custody right now. Shots were fired at or near the security area of the Washington Hilton Hotel outside the White House Correspondents' Dinner, but that everyone is okay.
A Secret Service member was shot in the protective vest, it appears. We're waiting to see the condition of that Secret Service member. But just so we can help the audience understand, I mean, we're talking about literally minutes into the start of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You had the White House Correspondents Association president speaking, thanking the White House press secretary, thanking the President of the United States for having been at this event, and the First Lady. We saw the announcement of people being in the room as well. You heard the anthem and other things starting to play, and within moments of being told to enjoy their dinner, suddenly we were brought back into the room by chaos that was unfolding, and Secret Service members bum rushing the stage and weapons being drawn as people were crouching under their tables. And we had just talked about some of the people who were crouching at those tables. We're talking about the line of succession who was there as well. It is unfathomable to think about that. And of course, members of the press, civilians, human beings, not only in the room, in the lobby. This is not a hotel that shuts down just because the White House Correspondents' Dinner is being held there. You have a huge tourism boom in Washington, D.C., people who are outside as well. And of course, Andrew McCabe, I want to bring you in here because it is so important to hear about, you talk about soft versus hard targets. We have no idea who the target was here. There are a lot of assumptions being made as the reporting is coming in fast and furiously. But talk to me about the idea that you're talking about a crime scene that is the length of a city block practically in Washington, D.C. Wait, Caitlin, can we hear more from you? Go ahead, Caitlin.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know we just got a 2-minute warning. That means the president is imminently coming out here to address the press corps. So we will hear from the president himself, who is offering a lot of the updates. I mean, we were hearing that the gunman was dead. We were hearing multiple reports, but obviously, understandably, it was breaking news situation. A lot of reporters in one ballroom asking people for information. And the president himself was the one who said and confirmed that the suspect had been apprehended by law enforcement. So he'll be out here momentarily, and we'll obviously see who joins him, if anyone from the cabinet joins him, and what he has to say about this experience as he was sitting there on stage, obviously, as all of this was going on.
So important. John Miller was just reporting to us as well, Andrew McCabe, about some identifying details of this suspect.
Angelica,
Give us some context to what you were hearing.
Andy,
Andrew, go ahead.
Andy, 30-year-old male, we should say, from California. Those are the only details we have right now. Suspect in custody. Sorry to interrupt you, Andy.
Yeah, that's okay, John. So obviously we're going to learn a lot more about this person as the hours and days go on. But really the preliminary question for me is are we talking about someone who simply
So the guy that they're pointing to might not be the guy.
And then engaged
Because the guy that they're pointing to was light skinned. He was black.
The magnetometer and actually engaged a firearm in the
we don't know if he's
cleared
white or
kind
not
of,
yet. I
space.
wouldn't.
That's how that question is answered is going to really, I think, set the tone of the conversation around this attempted attack, if that's in fact what it was, for the next several days. There will be a lot of questions to answer at the Secret Service if that person got through the security perimeter with a firearm.
And that is one of the key questions here, the absolute layout of the room, how far the person got, the disposition of that person as he was going through security. I don't know if we'll hear that from the president. The president does have a tendency to be the first provider of information that sometimes you would normally hear from law enforcement officials. So obviously we are all on the edge of our seats waiting to learn more here. Caitlin was describing the situation as all the reporters who cover all the major events in Washington were in the Washington Hilton, and now many of them have tried to get to that room you're looking at right now where this briefing is about to take place. We were given a 2-minute warning about 2 minutes ago. That can be a little bit squishy.
Some even running from the location of that Hilton down to the White House, which of course you're talking about over what 2 miles down Connecticut Avenue. Essentially it's a long way, but just the ferocity of which they're trying to get to the location, because obviously the President of the United States was not going to speak from that location. And you also down there, you see Kash Patel, the FBI director who was at this dinner as well. You see Secretary Kennedy, who was there as well. Essie, you've been watching very closely by the people who are in this room and the impact of what this could mean.
Well, I was watching tonight to see if Kash Patel was going to come for other reasons because he's suing a journalism outfit right now. But we just saw him, tuxed out as a guest. The nation's top law enforcement officer was in this room tonight, which is remarkable and has so many implications. What did he see? What will he mobilize? I mean, was he a target? We have no idea.
The acting attorney general, the U.S. attorney for Washington.
These are very important people. Forgetting the politics of these people, these are very important people in the country, and they were all in this room.
Yo, he couldn't even monitor the situation with his girlfriend. You know what I'm saying?
Really, really fascinating.
Secretary Hegseth there as well. Right. I mean, just the number of people, which is part of why this was such an important night, that many of these people had.
Is there more information about what Kash Patel's girlfriend was doing? Very important. Okay? The left is evil. By the way, all these cucks have fucking blocked me, so I can't even respond to them. That's like Gunther Eagleman. Like every single one of them chirps at me from behind the block. The left loves violence. It's their brand. Remember in November, blah, blah, blah. All this shit. Barack Ravid reposted this with the shooter's alleged name. By the way, Barack Ravid, his first tweet was crazy. His first tweet literally had the Israeli flag on it. I don't know why. Did you see the Erica Kirk video? I want to go home. I'm having a hard time showing that because I don't want to show that because I feel like if I show that, I'm going to say some shit. And then, on behalf of the trans community, we'd like to thank you for taking the heat on this one, big dog. Oh my God. Oh my God. You're right. Low key. Low Kirkentually. Yeah, they went, instead of blaming Antifa and trans, they blamed me instead this time. So there you go. Hey, listen, there it is. There it is, Your fave Israeli LARPer tweeted about you too. What is happening, bro? It's a network. It's a network. They all got activated at the same time. I feel like we're watching it happen in real time. Isn't that crazy? Like, am I like, how is this the new talking point for the entire right? Bots for sure. It's not. Are they all in like the same group chat or some shit?
And Brian, just so you know, and I don't even know that you know this.
There's a lot I don't know.
We saw what was happening on the screen.
Oh my God, he
which was
posted
hard
him.
To tell. Yeah. And then we didn't know anything. And the very first bit of information we got was from you, and your first instinct was to basically FaceTime and start reporting. So thank you for being such a great reporter.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you for doing what you did.
The only other time that's ever happened to me at CNN was a little bit like this night. It was the night there was a bomb threat at CNN in New York, and our old colleague Don Lemon was anchoring. We had to evacuate out of that building, and I happened to live nearby, so I walked over. I think I used Skype because it was pre-COVID, and so we ended up going live on the street. And that night reminds me a little bit of this because no matter what, people need to know what happened. People need to know what's going on, and so we kept the show going, kept the broadcast going. But I went streaming to talk to you, John, live on air, and it didn't say
the Cole Allen guy. Who was Teacher of the Month. That's crazy. That's him. All right, get to work. Light skins on high alert. Okay, guys, no jokes. I mean, Trump posted the surveillance video. What the fuck is this guy doing, bro? I mean, I don't know if I can show this. Or, well, I guess no one died, but let me just watch anyway.
It looked like he checked it twice.
Let me watch it real quick. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He was fucking zooming, bro. Okay, here it is. Trump is already, he's talking. All right. Where is he yapping? Where's he yapping? Let's hear what.
Freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did.
I gotta pee.
Because
I bet you he will talk about the ballroom. I think he's gonna talk about the ballroom.
I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see. A man charged a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released, for purposes of transparency, clarity, I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now, put out on Truth and put out on many other platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun, and the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer, and he's doing great. He's in great shape. He has very high spirits, and we told him we love him and respect him, and he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, you know, it's not a particularly secure building, and I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the D.C. police. And we just spoke with the mayor. And when we're finished, the police chief is going to take over and discuss it also from
for tomorrow's news today. Piker Broadcasting Service, pre-watch Piker. Tomorrow's news today.
As they were supposed
inside
to.
Job,
you see the
inside job narratives.
Different positions, but you also see the attacker totally subdued and under control. So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our Republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago. You all know that story. And in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement.
Bro, why is Kash Patel right there looking like he did it, bro? Kash Patel's standing right next to the president looking like he was the mother who was trying to do the shooting.
We have to resolve our differences. I will say,
he just always looks
you have
guilty.
Republicans, Democrats, independents, conservatives, liberals, and progressives. Those words are interchangeable, perhaps, but maybe they're not. But yet, everybody in that room, big crowd.
Oh, here we go.
Crowd. There was a record-setting group of people, and there was a tremendous amount of love and coming together. I watched, and I was very, very impressed by that. But we were, First Lady and I were taken very well care of, very quickly rushed off the stage. Vice President J.D. Vance, who's here, was likewise beautifully done. He was just saying how quickly everybody acted, law enforcement, Secret Service in particular in this case, but law enforcement. Marco had the same thing. Pete was there. Pete didn't want any help. He didn't want anybody to help him. He doesn't want anybody to help him, but he did get some, didn't you? And I think you also said that it was very impressive. So with that, I'd like to ask Todd Blanche to come up, say a few words, and tell you it's already underway. The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California, and he's a sick person, a very sick person. And we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important that I say, though, and I told the representatives of the evening, they did such a beautiful job. It was such a beautiful evening. And again, they're talking about free speech in our Constitution. That's what it's all about, not just White House correspondence. It was really based on free speech in our Constitution. But I said very importantly that we'll do it again within the next 30 days, and we'll make it bigger and better and even nicer. So
I mean, is this going to boost his approval ratings? I don't think so. I think people just hate him. It don't matter.
You've been very responsible in your
Maybe he'll be able to get some pickups on independents who were like on the margins, but I just don't think
Todd
like.
Blanche, I'd like to say a few words, and then we're going to have Cash, and then you're going to go on. We can ask. I guess we can take a couple of questions.
Go ahead, Cash. I was going to fire you, but I heard your girlfriend was holding another man's hand earlier, so
experience
I guess
for her.
not fired yet.
There's a lot of
Can't
action
say you're
taking place
fired.
up there very quickly. But again, the response time was really incredible. And we're going to reschedule. We're going to do it again. We're not going to let anybody take over our society. We're not going to cancel things out because we can't do that. We wanted to stay tonight. I will tell you, I fought like hell to stay. But it was protocol. They said, please, sir.
Yeah, the ballroom thing was a huge reason, weirdly enough, for why they hate him. Like why independents and boomers like checked out. That was a big turning point in his approval ratings. So I think people who hate him now are just going to say like, nah, the ballroom thing, like this assassination attempt was like staged so that he could justify the ballroom. You ain't slick. I think that's what people are going to say.
The very worst and the very best of this country. You saw the very worst by the actions of that coward that the president just talked about. But you
Bro, by the way, that dude was booking it. I saw the CCTV footage. He was fast as.
And you'll see the videos come out, I expect, very shortly, and you'll see law enforcement do exactly what we want them to do. And so I echo what what President Trump just said, that we are extraordinarily grateful and appreciative of the men and women of law enforcement that did their jobs tonight, including one who was injured. This investigation is ongoing. I expect you will see charges filed shortly. The charges should be self-evident given the conduct, but as you'll hear, there will be multiple charges surrounding the shooting, around the possession of firearms, and anything else that we can get on this guy. The investigation is obviously ongoing and just started. There is federal law enforcement already working on search warrants and doing their job, and I don't want to get ahead of them and don't want to get ahead of the work that they're doing even as we speak. Director Patel and I were just on the crime scene a short while ago, and everybody in this room should rest assured that the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, Secret Service, everybody's on the scene doing their job. I know that the police chief is going to give an update from the scene as soon as we're finished here, and I obviously will lead the details of what they have learned to him. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everybody in this room for the courage, and I want to thank President Trump for his words, and I promise you, justice will be served. Thank you. Director Patel.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr. President. The President's absolutely right. You saw the best resolve of American law enforcement because you, Mr. President, inspire them 24/7, 365. You give them the resources that they need, and they know that you have their back. And that is a changing dynamic in this country, and that's why you saw brave Secret Service agents respond immediately, swiftly, subdue and take down the suspect, and safeguard the lives of thousands of individuals at that hotel. Thanks to our interagency partnership with the Department of Homeland Security and the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI was rapidly deployed onto the scene, took over the evidence response unit, is examining all the ballistics that were found on scene to include the long gun and the shell casings. We are conducting witness interviews as we speak. You will hear from our team on the scene there with the mayor and the head of the FBI field division there. But please know what the Attorney General has just said reigns no truer. You saw the very best of America tonight. The very best unite us at a time of uncertainty, because we have leadership here with the President and the Vice President that backs law enforcement, and the men and women that I shook their hands on the scene today could not have been prouder to show up on scene. And as the Attorney General said, make no mistake, we are conducting witness interviews. If you have any information whatsoever related to this event, 1-800-CALL-FBI, 1-800-CALL-FBI. No piece of information is too small. No piece of information is inadequate. We will evaluate it all. We will also be conducting interviews of those that were there. And if any of those individuals have information, please come forward to law enforcement or the FBI or the Metropolitan Police Department. We will be examining this individual's background thoroughly. That process has already started, and we are going to ensure that he was either a lone wolf actor or anyone else that was responsible. We will analyze all evidence immediately to make sure that we safeguard this country. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, thank you for your leadership. Attorney General and Homeland Secretary Marlin, thank you for your partnership in law enforcement.
Thank you. Okay, we'll do a
that's
couple
that
and then we
fear
go
talking.
to Madam Chairman. I just want to say you did a fantastic job. What a beautiful evening, and we're going to reschedule. Okay. And after that, it's very tough for her to ask a killer question, right? But you have done a fantastic job. Please.
Mr. President, I appreciate it. As you mentioned, it all happened so quickly. Yeah. And I wonder, especially because unfortunately you have experience with these sorts of threats, in that moment when you realized there was a threat.
Oh God, they're already glazing him. Oh, it's so fucking good.
Can you describe what was going through your mind, how you were feeling?
Oh my God. Oh my God. The fucking White House press pool is going to be like, oh, we all got through this together. Aren't you such a hero, Mr. President? How heroic were your thoughts?
Fact, we were sitting right next to each other, First Lady on my right, and I heard a noise and sort of thought it was a tray. I thought it was a tray going down. You know, I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. And it was from quite far away. He hadn't breached the area at all. They really got him. But, so it was quite far away, but it was a gun. And some people really understood that picture, and other people didn't. I was watching to see what was happening. Probably should have gone down even faster. Melania was very cognizant, I think, of what happened. I think she knew immediately what happened. She was saying, "That's a bad noise," and we were whisked away along with other people, but we were really whisked away. And again, the performance of the Secret Service and the police, all of the law enforcement, I thought was really good. So it was very quick. There wasn't a lot of time to be thinking, because it was a matter of seconds before we were out the door and gone into an area. We very much, and you wanted to too, we very much wanted to continue it, because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible, horrible people, change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do. So we held out. You were there. We held out right till the end, but they didn't want to take a chance, and I understand there was protocol. But we're going to be doing one hopefully within the next 30 days or sooner, and I am ready, willing, and able. And I was all set to really rip it And I said to my people, this would be the most inappropriate speech ever made if I said one. So I'll have to save it. I don't know if I could ever be as rough as I was going to be tonight. I think I'm going to be probably very nice. I'll be very boring the next time, but we're going to have a great event. And you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Peter, go ahead.
How much you want to bet he's a Hasan Piker fan? He's a brown, light-skinned black Democrat from California who's also a teacher.
His weapon somewhere on site at the hotel. What do you think about that? And I ask respectfully, why do you think this keeps happening to you?
Well, you know, I've studied assassinations, and I must tell you, the most impactful people, the people that do the most, you take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this, where they got them. But
I've studied assassinations. I'm just like JFK and Abraham Lincoln.
The biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way. And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people. Just take a look at the names there, the big names. And I hate to say I'm honored by that, but I've done a lot. We've done a lot. We've taken this country, and we were a laughing stock for years, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We've changed this country, and there are a lot of people that are not happy about that. So I think that's the answer, Peter.
And after Butler, your team for a while rethought outdoor events.
Yeah.
Do you think that you now need to rethink
No.
indoor
Well,
events?
but then you just don't do events. No, I can't do that. I have to. It is what it is. We have to do it. The room was very, very secure. You know, he charged from 50 yards away, so he was very far away from the room.
And what did you think when you saw the video of how fast he was running?
He was moving. He was really moving. And the reaction time was great. Boy, those guys, they had their guns drawn literally by the time he was there. They were shooting.
That's right.
I thought they were very impressive. I thought they were very impressive. And if I didn't, I'd let you know. You know, I'm not going to be, I would not stand for that. No, I thought they were very impressive.
Thank you, President Trump, and thank you for updating us on the
Thank you.
suspect earlier. Were you aware of any threats? Was your team aware of any threats beforehand? And do you believe you were the target of this tonight?
I guess. I mean, these people they're crazy. They're crazy. And, you know, you never know. He was very far away from me.
I'm worried
He
that
got
like
through a
some
lot.
fucking Newsmax reporter or some psycho is going to be like,
resources
have you
all
heard
over.
about this
We had
guy
resources sitting at
who's been
tables,
inciting a lot of
literally
violence?
in disguise, sitting maybe at your table, who knows? But we had people all
I think
over the room,
Hoscourt is
so
trying to
he
get
had a
you
long way
killed.
to go.
Guys,
That was
please stop joking
really first line
around,
of
please.
defense, and they got him.
I'm fucking begging you, dude. You're playing with fucking
No,
fire.
There was no notification. We had no idea. Go ahead,
Do you know
Kevin.
any political motivations from this?
Well, you never know. Now, we'll be able to tell you that maybe by tomorrow or the next day. You know, he's in custody, and they're asking him a lot of questions. I guess they're going over, Todd, and they're already at his apartment. He lives in California.
Yes, sir.
And they're over there, so they'll be able to tell you. Thank you, Caitlin.
President Trump, did the suspect say anything, or was he wearing anything that would allege some type of motive here?
Nothing. No, I mean, he was a guy who looked pretty evil when he was down. You know, they had him down. He was fighting hard. He was in my opinion, a sick person. Who would do that but a sick person? But I think you're going to find everything about him. No reason to talk about it now. But tomorrow at this time, long before this time, you're going to know a lot of things about him. They seem to think he was a lone wolf, and I feel that too.
Are you concerned about U.S. Secret Service protection ability? We saw several of the detailees take minutes to be escorted out of the room.
No, they acted very quickly. No, I was very impressed by Secret Service. I mean, I'm the one, and Mark Wayne, you would agree with that, I think.
Absolutely.
I'm the one that would complain. You don't have to complain for me. I would be complaining. I'd be up here right now saying they didn't do their job. Oh, believe me, because, you know, it's my life, and I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. But when you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone. Okay, a couple of more. Go ahead, please.
Is there any indication that this shooting could have been linked to the war in Iran?
I don't think so, but you never know. We're going to know a lot. We have the best people in the world working on it, and we're going to know a lot. Please.
Mr. President, there's
You, as well as some of us who have covered Butler, experienced 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What felt similar? You know, you had the First Lady with you today. What felt different? And you have another 2+ years in office. Are you concerned about something like this happening
Well, I
again?
can't be concerned. I can only get great people. They did the job, in my opinion, a much better job than Butler. Butler had one weak spot that we all know about. Somebody should have been up there. But even Butler, we had our sniper on our side within 4.2 seconds from a distance of about 400 yards, one shot, and he was gone. And if he didn't do it, now, you know, he's David. His name was David. I say, hello, David, every time I see him. David, I like you very much, David. But think of that. Now, if he doesn't hit him, and he hit him right between the eyes from 400 yards without any notice, nobody knew. He heard a sound. He looked over, and there was actually a tree that was somewhat in his way. You know the story very well. And he aimed, he fired, and if he didn't do that, beyond me, you would have had a lot more people killed. We lost one great person and 2 people very badly hurt. They're okay now. But no, that was, so in a sense, you know, that was pretty amazing, the job they did. But they did have that one weak spot. As you know, they should have had that covered. Tonight they had everything covered very quickly. And he was fast. He was running full blast, and they got him before they got any further. I was very far away. You know, he hadn't anywhere close to breach the doors of the ballroom. The ballroom was sealed, and everybody in there. That's why once those doors opened, they didn't want to do tonight. If the doors weren't opened, we could have probably done it tonight, but I think we're much better off rescheduling. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, for you and perhaps law enforcement as well, what is the level of confidence that this was a lone actor, and has the suspect made any statements to police while in custody?
Yeah, I think it's just it's not my profession. We have great professionals up here and outside that have been working with us. My impression is he was a lone wolf, whack job. These are crazy people. And they have to be dealt with. We had that in the second attempt, as you know, and he's spending life in prison. Because if you let him out, they'll probably, you know, if he serves 10 years or 15 years, you let him out, he'll probably try it again with somebody else. They're sick people. We have a lot of sick people. But you're going to know, I think very shortly, you're going to know, Todd, a lot about him. You're going to know a lot about him. Yeah, a couple of more. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Are you concerned about political violence? This could be politically motivated.
All violence. You know, I'm concerned about everything. Look, but I can't be so concerned that you can't function. No, I'm here. It's a dangerous profession. You know, I tell the story, race car drivers, I think it's very dangerous. So if you take 1% and then take about 10% of 1%, just to break it down very easily, they die. So much less than 1%, 10% of 1%. I think bull riding is very dangerous. If you take about the same, 10% of 1%, much less than 1%.
What?
But if you take presidents, it's 5.8%. And about 8% are shot at. So nobody told me this was such a dangerous profession. If Marco would have told me, maybe I wouldn't have run. Maybe I would have said, I'll take a pass. No, it's a dangerous profession, but I don't view it that way. Look, I'm here to do a job. As part of the job, it is a dangerous, I can't imagine that there's any profession that's more dangerous. But I love the country, and I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the job we've done. You see what's happened. We have a great country. We've got, I think, the most successful, the hottest country anywhere in the world. This happened over a period of just a year, and we're going to do great things. But with that come risks. There's no question about it. Yeah.
To that end, I mean, there's been so much political violence, not just aimed at yourself, but at other members of, members of Congress, state house speakers, you name it. Is that just the cost of doing business to do politics in America anymore?
Yeah, well,
what does that say about our country?
Too. You know, we're not the only country. You look at this great violence with all countries.
It happens. It happens everywhere.
Today, and they have numerous assassinations of political figures all over the world. You look at South America, it's like some of the numbers are just horrific. It's dangerous. It's dangerous stuff, whether it's here or someplace else. No country is immune. No country. Good question.
It's actually kind of remarkable he's not blaming the left, which is
Probably
good.
If I decided to just not do much.
There's something very strange about us, this country in particular, saying, we just violence everywhere. Yeah, man, we do it. We do the violence everywhere.
Military, we're the greatest military in the world. I rebuilt it in my first term.
Oh, here we go.
And now
He's
we
back.
use it because we have no choice. We can't let, as an example, Iran, we can't let them get a nuclear weapon. Everything will be peanuts compared to that if they ever were given a nuclear weapon. And they'd use it too. Marco and I were talking about it today. They would use it without even hesitation. We can't do that. It was a shame. I said, oh boy, look at the numbers. We just broke 50,000 in the Dow. We just broke 7,000 in the S&P. They said we couldn't do it in 7 years, 5 years, 4 years.
The
They were
Dow.
saying maybe in 5 or 6 years. And we did it in 1 year. And I called everybody together. I called all of these people and others, and I said, we have to take a little journey. I say to do this. We just had the great number. We just broke 50,000. Wasn't supposed to happen during my term. Wasn't reachable. We did it in 1 year, and I said, we're going to have to make a journey to Iran. They're going to have a nuclear weapon if we don't do it. We had the B-2 bombers take them out. I terminated in the first term the Obama agreement, the Iran nuclear agreement, which was a disaster. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. They would have used it. They would have used it 100%. So, when you do things like that, you become a target. If I wasn't doing that, I guess I'd be a lot less of a target. But I'm honored to be. Okay, one more question. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. Do you know how the gun was brought into the hotel? And also, how does this event impact you as the leader of our country? Do you think it will change your
I
leadership?
like not to think about it. I lead a pretty normal life, considering it's a dangerous life. I think I handle it as well as it can be handled. I think a lot of other people, you read stories where they become basket cases. To be honest with you, I'm not a basket case. I really take it as it is. I do it for the country. I'm not doing it for any other reason. I have a first lady who's doing a terrific job. She loves the country, and she recognizes it better than anybody. She's told me numerous times. She said, you are in a dangerous job. But that goes along with her, too. I mean, it's dangerous for her, too. We sat there tonight. We heard that noise, and it was either a tray or a bullet. I was hoping it was a tray, but it wasn't. And again, we had some very brave people doing a great job, so we're very proud of them and happy with them. I just want to thank everybody. They will be able to give you all that information as to the names and everything else. I think we released the names already. Most of you would have it, but his name. We appreciate it. I see so many tuxedos and beautiful dresses. It was a little different evening than we thought, but we're going to do it again, and we have a great chairman who we're so proud of, and we have to make it better. We'll make it safer, I guess, right? But we're going to make it even better. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
President Trump, can we hear from the first lady? You talked about how impactful this was. Can we hear from her about...
Well, honey, would you want to say something?
Okay.
One in the back. One in the back. Right.
Millions of people across the globe, in fact, are watching you. You demonstrated courageous leadership, and thank God you're alive. All of us are alive.
Oh my God!
What is the message that you want to give to the world that this should change? What corrective measures can we take from here on? So.
Well, all you can do, look, I don't care how many people you have, how good they are. They can be the greatest people. You have the greatest security in history. If you have a whack job who's got a brain, but it's a little bit distorted or a lot distorted, they can make trouble. I would say, Pete, right? They can make trouble. Some of these people are of genius level IQ, and they're nuts.
What?
So it can be trouble. So you do absolutely the best. You get the best. We have the best people. Well, look, it was proven tonight. He started running from 50 yards, and he was fast. He was
fast as fuck.
Tape. He was moving.
I watched the tape. He was fast as fuck, dude. It was crazy.
Because a lot of people would be looking and saying, it's like a weird feeling, and they would let him get through, but they didn't let him get through. They drew those guns so fast.
I'll show you guys in a second.
They looked like Matt Dillon. They looked like somebody that knew what they were doing, and we really do. But it comes with the territory. And if you want to do a great job, I really believe that. And you take a look at what's happened to
Wait, what?
Some
Wait,
of
is
our
he
greatest
talking about the
presidents,
shooter now?
and
Like, he wanted to do a great
It
job.
doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. And it's not going to deter me from winning the war in Iran. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
I don't know what
think
Matt
so,
Dillon is.
based on what we know. But
I don't know what that reference is.
we're going to continue to do a great job. That's all I can do.
Did he mean Matt Damon?
We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you're okay.
That was it.
And that was President Trump live at the White House. It is 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the East Coast at about 8:20 p.m.
That's it. That was the White House press conference. Here is the mother shooter, fast as fuck. You'll see he pops up right here in a second. Look. That was wild. I've never seen nothing like it. Anyway, shooter is a Caltech and CSU alum with several years of experience as a mechanical engineer. He is now a teacher, and his LinkedIn is Caltech Bachelor of Science. This is all verified, by the way. Now he's a part-time teacher. And they found that he registered as a no-party preference voter in LA County. Public records return a Caltech email address for the Cole, Thomas, Allen in Torrance. FEC records show a single $25 contribution via Act Blue. He made a video game? Wait, really? Wait, y'all are so fucking fast. That's crazy. Y'all found this shit. Actually? Bro said this is a technically skill-based, non-violent, asymmetrical fighting game loosely derived from chemistry model that itself is loosely based on reality. Bro, this dude was a whole-ass nerd. What was he doing? Are you sure? Yes, it's listed on his LinkedIn. Bro, I'm going to be honest with you. This is a unique profile for a shooter. Okay? This is, in many ways, a recession indicator. Okay? You got a guy who's a part-time teacher with degrees, who has a unique set of interests. I mean, this is not your regular Butler, Pennsylvania freak with no social media footprint, you know? Very strange situation. Very strange situation. Now, before you say false flag, I'm not going there, but I will say that it's the instability is brewing in this country. It's a sign of the times when you got a dude who's a mechanical engineer. Here's Jacqueline Sweet, reliable reporter here. Cole Allen, the alleged shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, is seen here in the image for Caltech's mechanical engineering major page. He's right there in the background. Masters from CSU Dominguez in Comp Sci last year. Here's another photo of Allen from Caltech. Apparently, several reporters, including at CNN and other outlets, follow a close relative of the shooter here on X, likely his sister, and likely from her doing an engineering fellowship at a news outlet as well. I'm STEM, and all we talk about is how we're all going to be unemployed after we graduate. Maybe he's a radical centrist NAFO guy. I don't know. There's a Twitter account that posted the name 2+ years ago. Non-sub can't share a link. I mean, it could be anybody's name. I mean, that's fine. That's not. Is that not unique? Seems like it's not that unique. Seems like you graduated Caltech in 2017, has been massively underemployed / unemployed since 2018. No, usually it's like losers. Alleged shooter speaks from 057 from 2017. Aging into the future conference brings new tech to help seniors.
As to what their imagination was doing.
College student Cole Allen developed a prototype for a wheelchair emergency brake.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground. The idea with this.
Okay, never mind. He might be actually one of the centrist, extreme centrist guys. I'm not gonna lie. Could be the case. He sounds like it a little bit.
Is to prevent it from moving at all.
But yeah, normally guys that do this stuff are demonstrating peak antisocial personality disorder, don't have a lot of friends. Like Luigi Mangione was unique in that sense as well. Like he did not fit the average profile of someone who would go out and like shoot someone in fucking broad daylight. Okay? Once again, it's usually people who have nothing to lose that do stuff like this. Like Ryan Ruth was a fucking kook, right? Ryan Ruth was crazy. What the fuck? Was a generational athlete to the STEM space? True. Right? Whereas this guy doesn't fit that profile at all. Allegedly, stop saying stupid shit. Okay. First of all, pretty sure Ryan Ruth is about to, he's in jail right now. Luigi allegedly, yes, allegedly. Bro, he got a grad degree in computer science. Right as AI and layoffs hit, he was about to be perma unemployed. Yeah, but then he did comp sci. The CCTV shows agent getting hit by friendly fire.
Leaving the White House Correspondents' dinner, most surreal experiences of my life. Here's what we know in terms of what we think happened. Wolf Blitzer was going to the men's room on a bathroom break and saw all of this. A gunman was trying to get in near the lobby, which is upstairs from the main ballroom, and he apparently shot at one of the agents. There was a bullet hole in the vest, bulletproof vest of one of the agents, and that shooter has now been apprehended, is in police custody. Inside the room, it was like a movie. President Trump, the Secret Service climbed on top of him. The vice president, the members of the cabinet that were in there were all escorted out. Everybody in the room ducked onto the ground, kind of not knowing what happened. We didn't know that there were gunshots at first. Didn't know if it was a protester. It was very unclear what happened. But it was certainly bizarre and scary. And seemed like for a while that they were going to continue the dinner. They've now decided not to continue the dinner, saying that they will bring it back at some point. But just a surreal experience. The good news, the president is safe, vice president is safe, everybody in the room.
It looks like the gunman didn't even fire a shot. We don't have all the details. The guy was rushing B. Do we even know if he has a gun at this point?
Room is safe, but there's a lot of questions now about how did this happen, what will happen with security, and where do we go from here? Live coverage now on CNN.